guys, welcome to another Race Shop build. I'm David Pingree with my buddy here, Justin McMurrich, fellow racer. He and I grew up racing together in Arizona, fellow fireman. We've done some builds before. You may have seen a couple of Project 500s we did and another two-stroke 250 build, but this is a RM125, 2002, right? Yeah. And you bought this for your son to kind of build up for him, and that way you guys had some two-stroke stuff to ride.
Well, he decided he wanted to start riding, and I was like, well, let's do this right. Let's get you going and start from the ground up, and we'll build you a bike, and this is what we have for him.
Well, and I'm a big believer that this is a great place to start. It teaches you the fundamentals, and you can't, right. It's much harder to get yourself in trouble on one of these until you have those fundamentals down, and then you're less likely to get in trouble anyway. So, and just to go back and remind folks, what got you into kind of building bikes was you went through about a cancer in your jaw, pretty scary stuff, and this really kept you focused on something positive. You know, there's a lot of reasons people build bikes, especially those old two-strokes, a lot of nostalgia for us old guys, but it is also kind of therapeutic. And at times, if I'm having a bad day, just going into the garage and spinning some wrenches and working on something, a project, man, it's something soothing. Well, tell us what you paid for this, where you found it. Was it in pretty rough shape when you first got it?
It was in rough shape. I mean, they always are when they're, 02 and it's been used. I paid around $1,700 for this thing. We did a top and bottom in on it. We literally powder coated the frame. I mean, this thing is brand new from top to bottom. So, we suck a little bit of extra money into it because that's what you have to do. And about $4,300 is what we put into it. So
somewhere between $5,000 and $6,000 all told.
I mean, but we're talking about a bike that hasn't changed. It's not going to change. I mean, this thing is going to be his bike for a while. So it's a good investment, I think. So.
Well, and this is kind of what I would call an everyman build, right? Some of our projects, we got, fully built engines and we get these trick wheel sets and it's just dripping in carbon fiber or this or that.
Right.
We do that intentionally to try to build cool stuff, but this is something that if a guy was going to go build a bike to ride, this is going to be your son's daily driver.
Yeah, it's going to be his weekend warrior. Right?
Let's build it reliable. Let's make it look nice. Let's clean it up, but let's try to keep it within our budget, right? A lot of Pro X parts on this thing. All the internals for the top end, bottom end, right?
It's all Pro X, yep.
You went to Faster for the wheels, and he did a great job over there. Huh?
Yeah, Colin did a great job. He Cerakoted the hubs, and then obviously laced the wheels up for me, and he does fantastic work. Everything, no problems with him whatsoever. So.
Well, and the cool thing about that is we just did that on a Project Honda we had, and it's much cheaper than buying a whole wheel set to just reuse your stock hub and throw some new spokes in there. It's just a sort of a more economical option, and I really like it.
You can Cerakote them almost whatever color that you want. So, I mean, they look factory. You can't even tell.
So Dunlop tires on here, which just has actually my setup.
Our setup of choice.
3353. Yeah. You like that too?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Tell me about the front brake, because one of the things about these older bikes is I tend to wonder about the brakes. A lot of times they're not great, but this actually worked well.
So Suzuki, the original brake line would run down and run underneath the fork tube, but they set it up like a Honda. They give you a Honda brake line and you can set it up that way. So you move it a little differently. And then obviously we got the bigger rotor on there and all the stuff from Gaffer and yeah, it works fantastic. You rode it. Yeah. It stops on a dime. So
yeah, that's something that can be, they just don't feel as good as you'd like them to on these older bikes. So that steel braided line and bigger rotor 100%. Made all the difference in the world.
Awesome.
ODI up top here for the bars, grips. We got some Works Connection stuff just to kind of finish off the top. And UFO for all the plastic.
All the plastic UFO.
Moto seat. And this is a complete seat, right?
Yes, we got a bigger seat for it, a taller seat. The stock seat, you feel like you're kind of sitting in this thing. And that was the way the bikes were built. But this seat makes you feel like you're on top of it. It's a Suzuki, so it corners like a dream, but it feels great.
And Decal Works did all of our graphics here. We've got a uni filter in there, some IMS Pro pegs, a V-Force reed block. And we were talking about this before, completely stock cylinder, stock head, no motor work, just build it back to stock so that it's reliable. You throw an exhaust system on here and a V-Force reed block, that's bolt-on power, there's no reliability issues. And this is really, if someone's buying an old two-stroke to fix up, that's kind of the route I recommend to go. Keep it stock. You could have maybe somebody clean up the ports or something if you want, but just the more technical you get and the more horsepower you try to squeeze out of it, your jetting gets more complicated. You get some reliability issues.
Absolutely. Enzo did the stuff. We actually put sub tanks on this thing. So in this era, sub tanks were like the coolest thing to have. So I had some.
And of course, those are carbon fiber.
Yeah, of course they are. So it's got some little trinkets on it, that he doesn't necessarily need, but I mean, Come on.
So we did get this thing out on the track today and have a little fun. And typical 125, you try to ride it like a 4-stroke, it will bog, almost stall, and you will fall over in the mud. You just have to remember to wind it up before you release the clutch, and it has pretty much 0 to hardly any bottom end, and then a really good pull through the middle, and then it holds its own on top. You know.
Sounds great. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was a lot of fun to ride. I was really impressed with the suspension. It's pretty old, 20-year-old stuff, but it actually worked great. Will and Ross do such an awesome job. And what's funny is, in 2001, they went to this new setup, right? Yeah, the 99 and 2000 RMs were my favorite motorcycles ever. They were a little bit more compact, and they built the 2001 for Pastrana because he was their fair-haired boy.
Golden child.
Let's build this bike around him. And so I raced these again in 03 with Moto World, and I just could not get along with this bike at a high level of riding anyway. So it was fun to get back on it today. It felt great to me. Still corners like a Suzuki.
So nice.
Fun power, and you know, the neat thing about these to me, it's the challenge of keeping the power right in that little window.
Yeah, you have to. That's the only way they're gonna move.
Yeah.
Especially when you're a little heavier. Like, well, hey, I'm just saying, I got you beat by a handful.
And I will tell you, your seat is like, it reminded me of a Lazy Boy. It's so soft. Right. And I thought, he's gonna feel right at home. It's like the old blue chairs at the station, just flying them back in between calls. You really did a good job going through and touching all the points that need to be addressed.
I think my boy's gonna love it.
I think so too. So anyway, lots of fun. Thanks for letting us have a spin on it. Time for you to go get some laps in now.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you're looking for something like this, definitely check out some of these parts and these companies. ProX makes literally everything to rebuild a bike. So they're a great resource for you if you're looking for parts. And this was a lot of fun. And this is a really fun way to go to something reliable. You can have forever. You can refresh it very cheaply. And teach yourself the basic fundamentals of riding a dirt bike. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned. We have more videos coming.